I love wilderness canoe camping, but my spring and fall are already booked with trips. That's where this trip comes in. Summer canoeing and beach camping was on the agenda for this 8-day wilderness canoe trip adventure to Big Tom Wallace Lake in southwestern Nova Scotia. Unexpectedly, I found myself without a partner on this planned adventure, so I decided to immerse myself into the world of solo paddling in a typical sink or swim fashion. This was a week of birds, beavers, beautiful beach camping, blueberries, and lots of relaxation and reading. Come along with me for this summertime canoeing adventure that has made me reconsider my belief that summer is not the time for camping.
Well, it rained off and on all last night. It's very quiet last night. A lot of sounds. There must be 4 or 5 beavers, and they're just calling all night long, almost non-stop. I just saw one of them swim by here since I got out of the tent. It sounded early this morning like he was about ready to climb up on my beach and chew on my leg. Anyway, they're calling all night long. It's pretty gray and overcast. I haven't really checked the weather forecast, but I think I'm going to plan to move on down the lake anyway to another spot, find another spot. So I'm going to have some breakfast, some oatmeal with some blueberries I picked yesterday, and get my wet gear packed up and get heading out, I think. Here's my oatmeal with the fresh blueberries in it. And the raisins and brown sugar that I brought. Should be good. Coffee's ready. My friendly beaver keeps swimming back and forth in front of me, like he's guarding me. And I lost sight of him now, but he's been back and forth the whole time I've been making breakfast. And fog has rolled in. Time to eat.
It had been a good and relaxing first 2 days out in the woods. Yesterday had been a lazy day of sitting around and basically waiting for the rain to come, which didn't materialize until later in the evening. Yet, it was a great day. I dug into my first of 3 books that I brought out with me, and I was thoroughly enjoying myself. Today I was feeling restless. The urge to explore my beautiful surroundings was taking over, and I was anxious to move down to the bottom of the lake and find a new spot to camp. From what I had seen so far, I expected tonight's camping spot would be a beach as well, but only time would tell. I wolfed down my oatmeal and packed up my gear, looking forward with anticipation of further practicing my solo canoe paddling skills that I was trying to develop. The overcast was thick and a breeze was brewing. I was feeling well rested and I was on the water quite early. Despite the gloom, my spirits weren't dampened. I was excited to explore more of the lake. As I went further down the lake, it became wider and wider. Despite this not being the Tobiatic Wilderness area, and it being pretty accessible, it felt very remote this morning. I was alone, it was silent, and I was loving it. It seemed that the lessons learned solo paddling a couple of days ago were well learned. As I headed farther into the lake, paddling the canoe and controlling it became easier and easier. No longer did it require my complete concentration, and I was able to relax more and look around at the nature that surrounded me. It was going to be a good day, and I realized that, hey, maybe you can teach an old dog new tricks. If there's a pile of rocks in the middle of the lake, you can be assured that I want to climb on them. I love to get out on the rocks and on islands and look around. I think the different perspective of the lake from an island is a thing that should be experienced. So despite Aaron and Cameron's groanings, I climb out and explore those geographical features as much as I can. This trip, however, neither of those fellas are anywheres around to discourage my zeal for climbing up on things and taking pictures. I saw this rocky island from a distance as I paddled up the lake, and I just had to stop and have a closer inspection.
see another loon.
As I neared the last portion of Big Tom Wallace Lake towards the bottom, I saw a dome-like rocky island in the center of the water. There seemed to be a lot of bird activity around it. I adjusted course and headed straight for it to check it out. The seagulls seem pretty agitated with me. I stopped here on this island and I'm assuming I'm going to find a nest up here, which I'm going to be very careful around not to touch or whatever, but they were hesitant to leave the island and now they're flying around. Looks like they're fighting with each other, mating maybe, I don't know. Crashing into each other. I saw feathers flying and they keep circling around and calling at me, so we'll see what we find. See all kinds of feathers. It'd be late for a nest, I would think. There's my loon back. Must be a baby seagull. It's all covered with fluffy down. The island stinks like a latrine. The sun was making a desperate attempt to break through its blanket of clouds, but just as quickly as it made its face visible, it ducked back behind the dull gray canopy. I took back to the water and moved into the lowest part of the lake. Aware that I was now close to where I wanted to spend the next couple of nights on Big Tom Wallace, I began to scan the shores for any sign of a potentially good spot to camp. Most of the woodsy areas looked thick, and when I would investigate a potential spot with more open space, the ground was very rough. That would be fine for Aaron's hammock, but not so good for my tent. I searched for any signs of a flat and sandy beach. As I narrowed down my search for a suitable spot to camp, there were, of course, more islands. I had pretty much settled on a spot already, but I decided to land in this spot and look around before I backtracked back up the lake to the beach spot that I had found earlier. Have I mentioned that I like to get out and play on the rocks? Well, I do, and I did. More deer tracks on my beach. There's Gull Island. Seagulls are all perched back out there again. They still keep flying over my head and cawing at me. Go, go, go. The way seagulls do, not like crows do. The crows make a different noise. That's more the crow. There you go. Bird impersonations by Ed. That one's for free. No cover charge for this one. After making it back to the spot I had found while exploring, I got my camp all set up. So far, it had been a fun day, and I was looking forward to another couple of nights on another beach. It was still only lunchtime, so I made a cup of tea and ate my lunch, gazing out over the water, watching the seagulls fly and land. The wind was picking up, and the sun was starting to poke out a little more frequently. The map showed my camping spot to be on a peninsula in the lake. I decided to head out around the point exploring. The trees behind me were very open and it was pretty easy walking. I walked the rocky shore and up through the woods. I found a big beaver dam and I walked out on it and realized that I was on an island, not a peninsula like the map showed. I finished my walk around the island and headed back to my beach to relax for the rest of the afternoon. The sun eventually burned off the gloom and now it was time to make supper, but the wind had grown quite strong. One of the bad things about camping on beaches is that you often don't have much shelter from the wind. I crouched behind my tent trying to get my camp stove to boil water and to get my supper completed. Alright, I got chicken broccoli casserole right there. You see that? Chicken broccoli casserole. The problem is, I forgot the chicken. So it's vegetarian chicken broccoli casserole, I guess, because there's no chicken in it. Silly me. Now I'm going to eat it. Well, it's so windy I thought I'd get in the tent and to talk to the camera because I didn't figure it would pick me up. I'd have to yell into it. So it's beautiful and sunny, and it's warmed up quite a bit. It was cool most of the day. A pretty lazy afternoon. Had a nice nap again. There's a big gust of wind hitting the tent. Maybe I'll take off like a hot air balloon, like a parachute. And I wash my hair real good and my face, and it feels awesome. So I'm just laying around hoping the wind's going to die out. I'm not sure if it's going to or not. It's not showing much signs. There's still whitecaps out there. It's kind of a brilliant, it's going to be a real nice sunset here. It's going to set right over the water, right at the angle that I'm sitting out at the tent. You want to see how close I am to the water? I'll show you. Oops, that was an accident. Look how close I am to the water. Very close. So I can lay in the tent and I can watch the waves lap onto the shore. I'll be able to watch the sunset from the tent too. I had internet, so I was able to check the fire ban status in Nova Scotia and see that the burning restrictions had been lifted, thanks to last night's rain. I knew how dry things had been and that there wasn't rain in the forecast for the rest of the week. I was going to have a fire this night, and I was going to sit around it for a good long time. I kept the fire small and fed it slowly through the evening. I sat quietly watching ducks, seagulls, and a hawk all do their bird stuff. I had the perfect view. Slowly the sun made its descent behind the trees, and day 3 on Big Tom Wallace was at an end.